let's get sad. Let's get sad about how the government is a nightmare and the people in it are awful human beings. So this is in the matter of allegations related to Representative Matt Gaetz report on the Committee of Ethics. This was published yesterday. There's something even worse than the fact that he did this shit, in my opinion. There are people who fucking saw this report, saw all the shit he did, and still voted not to release it because he stepped down. Oh my god. Why did this not go to trial? Because fucking our government is so goddamn corrupt, it's insane. That's why. Because he's a rich white guy, so he's not gonna go to jail. That's why. Adopted by the Committee of Ethics on December 10th, 2024, 118th Congressional 2nd District of U.S. House of Representatives Committee of Ethics in the matter of allegations. Guests of the Committee on Ethics submitted the following report with dissenting viewers. Okay, and the names of the Ethics Committee, letter of transmittal, pursuant to Clause 3A2 and 3B of the Rule 11 of the Rules of House of Representatives, I hereby transmit the attached report with dissenting views in the matter and alleged recanting of Representative Matt Gaetz. Okay, so let's get into the actual report. In accordance with the House Rule 11 and Clauses 3A2 and 3B, the Committee of Ethics Committee hereby submits the following report. The House of Representatives, including the views of Chairman Guest on behalf of the dissenting committee members. It's not this committee's job to prosecute on this shit just to look into it. It'll go into that, but it's dumb as hell. Introduction. On April the 9th of 2021, the committee announced it was investigating a series of widely reported allegations relating to Representative Matt Gaetz. At the request of the Department of Justice, the DOJ committee deferred its review during the 117th Congress. After it was organized for the 118th Congress, the committee reauthorized its investigation into the allegations involving Representative Gaetz. Specifically, the committee undertook a review of allegations that Representative Gaetz may have engaged in sexual misconduct and or illicit drug use, shared inappropriate images or videos on the House floor, misused state identification records, converted campaign funds for personal use, and or accepted a bribe, improper gratuity, or impermissible gift. Impermissible gifts and explained its review to include allegations of Representative Gaetz may have dispensed special privileges and favors to individuals with whom he had a personal relationship and obfuscated government investigations into his conduct. At the time, the committee determined to take no further action on the allegations relating to the House floor, state identification records, personal use of campaign funds, and acceptance of a bribe or gratuity. So they immediately threw out anything related to corruption. They immediately threw out because, like, nah, let's just not look into any of that. It's, I'm sure it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. Whatever. On the November 14th of 2024, Representative Gaetz resigned from the House after the president-elect announced his intentions to nominate Representative Gaetz for the position of the United States Attorney General. As a result, the Representative Gaetz' reputation, the committee lost jurisdiction to continue its investigation. Representative Gaetz subsequently withdrew from consideration for the position of Attorney General at this time. He has not announced any intent to seek higher office to return to Congress. Yeah, so this is one of the... There was theorem floating around that this was planned. That this was like 5D chess by Trump, which, I'm going to be real, is possible. It is very possible that this is a real thing, chat. No, so here's the thing. There are two ways of thinking about this. Either A, that Trump actually wanted this guy to be the head of the Justice Department, or B, he nominated him because he knew he hated this guy and knew he was a fucking freak. And he thought if he nominated him, then there would be a mass investigation into him leading up to his appointment, and that might actually move things along and get rid of him. Because him being nominated fucked him forever. He managed to basically weasel his way out of the allegations the first time around. He managed to weasel his way, because I've looked into this a little bit. He managed to weasel his way out of the allegations the first time around. But because Trump nominated him for such a major position, there was going to be mass inquiries into his history and everything he's ever done, and investigations just like this ethics investigation. And that's why he resigned, because he didn't want any kind of investigation into what had happened, because he knew he made it out by a hair the first time. Does he hate Gaetz, though? Gaetz has been loyal to him. Who knows? Like, that's the thing, is, like, I am willing to I am willing to entertain the theory, because logically it does not make sense why you would designate someone like this as your attorney general. And he very quickly designated another attorney general afterwards, after Gaetz withdrew his nomination and quit Congress. So I don't know. It's an interesting conspiracy theory, I think. It really depends on how you what you think about it and how dumb you think Trump potentially is. It seems kind of crazy, but I actually lean on the idea that I think that Trump is a showsman, and he is very dumb sometimes about a lot of things, but I genuinely think that sometimes he knows what he's doing. And in this case, I actually kind of lean to believe that this was intentional. I lean to believe that this was intentional. Now they don't need him anymore. Yeah. It was attempt to circumvent shit by giving him a way to step down for a reason, and then decided not to go with the AG position and avoid further. I'm willing to believe in the idea that he's more spiteful than dumb. Yeah. Gaetz is deeply unlikable. Never doubt that someone might hate him. Yeah. Yeah. So I think the thing is, I think it's very important to always not analyze things based on a bias, right, chat? Because we obviously a lot of us, maybe not all of us, but a lot of people have a big bias against Trump because, the things he's done. Obviously, I'm not saying that it's not an unearned bias whatsoever. His behavior, his personality, his actions are very deplorable in a lot of cases. But just because someone's actions and behavior are deplorable does not mean that in every single case you should always assume worst malice. Sometimes the reverse is actually true. It's important to always analyze situations based on the most logical conclusion of the situation rather than simply letting your personal bias paint and taking a more harebrained idea of it than what is more likely the truth. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I don't know if he could ever confirm this or we'd ever know. Yeah, he would never say it in public. I don't think he would ever say openly in public, yeah, I confirmed, I wanted Gaetz, I put Gaetz up for that position because I wanted an investigation into him. It's the only way that it would have happened because he's a fucking freak and a pedophile. I don't think he would ever say that. I don't even ever say that in public. Say what you will, Trump knew Gaetz was very loyal and tried to throw him a bone because he only wants a yes man that he can manipulate. This is also true. Yes. Exactly. So I think it's more, it could be potentially more complicated than we initially expected with this situation. But regardless, Gaetz is a freak. So, and we'll see it in this document. On November the 14th, 2024, Representative Gaetz resigned from the House after the president-elect announced his intention to nominate Representative Gaetz for the position of the United States Attorney General. As a result, Gaetz' reputation in the committee lost jurisdiction. Oh yeah, no, we reread that. The committee has typically not released its findings after losing jurisdiction in a matter. However, there are a few prior instances where the committee has determined that it was the public interest to release its findings even after a member resigned from Congress. The committee does not do so lightly. In this instance, although several committee members objected, a majority of the members of the committee agreed that the committee's findings should be released to the public. Guys, for whatever reason, it's for the best that it happened. Yeah, exactly. Whether it's unintentional or intentional, it is good that this happened and that this guy has been run out of politics. And hopefully, he will be at some point prosecuted for his misdeeds, but probably not because he's rich. In sum, the committee found substantial evidence for the following. From at least 2017 to 2020, Representative Gaetz regularly paid women for engaging in sexual activity with him. This part, I don't have a problem with this necessarily. Once, as everyone knows, I'm very pro-sex work. I think sex work should be legal. I think it's very stupid that sex work isn't a regulated industry in America and that we have these kind of taboos against it. It's more dangerous for everyone because it's regulated. You can never stop people from selling sex. It will never happen. It has never happened for the history of humankind. And you should allow people to do with what they wish with their bodies as long as they're in full autonomy of themselves and they're not being pressured into it by others. But so this first point, I don't have a problem with. Legally, yes, it's illegal, but I don't really give a fuck. In 2017, Representative Gaetz engaged in sexual activity with a 17-year-old girl. See, now that, though, this right here, that's insane. That right there, that's fucking crazy. That is gross. That's gross on a million different levels, and he should be fucking drawn in quarters. That's disgusting. Let's see. During the period of 2017 to 2019, Representative Gaetz used or possessed illegal drugs, including cocaine and ecstasy, on multiple occasions. That's another I don't really give a fuck moment. Like, sure, okay, cocaine and ecstasy isn't good for you and you shouldn't do it, but like, I don't know, man. It would be very hypocritical of me as someone who has done drugs that in the states that I was in at the time when I was younger were completely illegal to try to say that is some kind of evil, bad, nasty thing. I think that this is not a morally like reprehensible thing to me at all. It's the least of his crimes of prostitution, yeah. Let's see. Representative Gaetz accepted gifts, including transportation and lodging, in connection with the 2018 trip to the Bahamas, in excess of permissible amounts. That's fucked. That right there is completely fucked. That is bribery, and bribery of elected officials is something that needs to be rooted the fuck out of Congress. I'm so sick of this shit. I'm so sick of how many congressmen and senators are just bought off by fucking companies. It's ridiculous. I'm all for doing all the drugs, especially all at once. Yeah. In 2018, Representative Gaetz arranged for his chief of staff to assist a woman with whom he engaged in sexual activity in obtaining a passport, falsely indicating to the U.S. Department of State that she was a constituent. See, this right here, I don't necessarily think that's evil either. It depends on the context. If he's manipulating this person and like it's like he's basically like holding this passport over her, then it's like, yeah, that's fucked. But like, I don't really have a problem with someone like getting someone's citizenship in America. Like, I'm never gonna have a problem with that. Gaetz said he would spill dirty secrets about the Congress members if this released. So let's hear it here, Gaetz. Yeah. Man, this man is forming our laws. He should not be on cocaine. Okay, that's a good point. That's a good point. He loses his leverage for sure. Yeah, he probably did. So that's gross if he did. Representative Gaetz knowingly and willfully sought to impede and obstruct the committee's investigation for his conduct. Yep, that's fucked up. And Representative Gaetz has acted in a manner that reflects disagreeability upon the House. Yep. No, it is shameful. It is shameful. I will say, yeah. So honestly, I don't. A lot of these. Everything except for like manipulating women and having sex with an underage girl. A lot of this other stuff I don't necessarily have as much of an issue with. Well, but here's the thing. Like you say, he shouldn't be on cocaine when he's doing laws. Bro, do you really think these people aren't on so many drugs? Do you really think that people in these positions are not doing drugs casually on the weekends? They absolutely are. I agree that they shouldn't be, but they are. That's not bribery. It's just expressing free speech in favor of signing politicians to be pro-corporate. Based on the above, the committee concluded there was substantial evidence Representative Gaetz violated House rules, state and federal laws, and other standard of conduct prohibiting prostitution, statutory rape, illicit drug use, acceptance of impermissible gifts, the provision of special favors and privileges, and obstruction of Congress. The committee did not find sufficient evidence to conclude that Representative Gaetz violated the federal sex trafficking statute. Although Representative Gaetz did cause the transportation of women across state lines for the purpose of commercial sex, the committee did not find evidence that any of these women were under 18 at the time of travel, nor did the committee find sufficient evidence to conclude that the commercial sex acts were induced by force, fraud, or coercion. Okay. Nearwin, thank you for the follow. Thank you. When cocaine was found in the Oval Office, I said, well, yeah, pretty much everyone at that level is doing coke at some degree. And my coworker actually got mad and said there's no way they would. People there need to have on their shoulders. Oh, my God. Yeah, no, that's silly. So, I mean, I guess he wasn't at least he wasn't sex tracking people. But, I mean, he's still fucking a freak. He still had sex with a 17-year-old. If I can lose my license for smoking a little weed, I want members of the Congress and Senate to be drug-free as I am, all right? Well, no, see, that's the thing. I think that we should think about it in a different way. I think we should think about it in a completely different way of none of us should. Like, you shouldn't be able to lose your license for smoking weed. I think it's ridiculous that any of us are at risk of like professional damage for casual drug use at all. I can't blame people who have problems coping with how poorly things are going. It's just unfortunate that they choose to use drugs, whatever the reason. Maybe I blame the people who supply innocent people opposing, saying their medicine of pleasure, morally repugnant. Also, you don't know if you could feel good about yourself selling that shit. Yeah. Like there are levels to it, right? I'm fine with like casual low-level drugs, but like once you get up to like stuff with fent, heroin, methamphetamines, this stuff has very, very immediate and long-term negative health benefits that it's just tons of stuff that harms you, and it's heavily, heavily addictive. That stuff is bad. I have no problem with people smoking weed. Hell, to an extent, I don't even really have a problem with cocaine. But like, cocaine is still extremely addictive, and if you take cocaine for long periods of time, you will do some major damage to your body and your heart. Like it's pretty bad. Ecstasy, as long as it's cut properly and you're using it in proper quantities and not you overusing it, it's safe. But the problem is, once again, with ecstasy, honestly, I think an issue with ecstasy is under regulation. It's the fact that this is not a controlled substance that you need a prescription for. That they are making sure you're not overusing. Like that's one of the key issues with that as a party drug. I have a problem with the same people imprisoning people for years over possession of like a gram of weed in them. Yeah. Weed's still federally legal. It's legal where I live, but still, since my CDL is federally regulated, I can't enjoy weed. And if Congress and Senate won't legalize it, shit, that they shouldn't get to use it. Yeah, no, I agree. Weed should be federally legal. It's insane that it's still not. Like that we have. It's like they fucking said about Roe versus Wade. Listen, if they're gonna fucking push Roe versus Wade and say, oh, well, it should be decided by the states. It should be decided by the states. Then fucking let us decide for ourselves about weed then, huh? Make weed federally legal. Make weed federally legal and then let the fucking states decide. Why? What is this fucking double standard? So women's bodies and what they choose to do with their own goddamn bodies is something that's totally fine for states to handle, but not what everyone chooses to do with their bodies? It's crazy. Give everyone the grass? Yeah. I would like all politicians to be surveilled 24/7 and the footage to be broadcast on Twitch. That would be pretty funny. The fact that alcohol is not only legal but celebrated while weed is illegal is proof that boomers need to have their authority taken away. Yeah. Federal decree crack now. Representative Gaetz was uncooperative throughout the committee's review. He provided minimal documentation in response to the committee's requests. He also did not agree to a voluntary interview. On July 11th, 2024, the committee issued a subpoena to Representative Gaetz for his testimony. He did not appear despite having... Oh my God, he just didn't show up. He did not appear despite having received notice of the date and time of the deposition. The committee then sent Representative Gaetz a set of written questions to which he issued a public response that ignored most of the direct questions about his misconduct and mischaracterized the committee's investigation, and he participated up to that point. Despite Representative Gaetz' claims to the contrary, the committee's singular mission is to protect the integrity of the House. When faced with serious public allegations against a member, the committee will often investigate, and when such allegations are false, the committee has shared a goal with the respondent to disprove those allegations. While the committee considers whether to establish an investigative subcommittee to consider sanctions against Representative Gaetz, the committee ultimately determined that it would not risk the further victimization of the women involved in this matter. Most of the women with whom the committee spoke also gave statements to the DOJ that urged the committee to rely on those statements in lieu of requiring them to relive their experiences. They were particularly concerned with providing additional testimony about a sitting congressman in light of DOJ's lack of action on their prior testimony. This is a really good point. Like, they would have gotten harassed. A lot of these women would have been tracked down and harassed by like political crazy people. So like they don't want to put themselves out there for this. DOJ refused to provide the relevant statements and other significant evidence to the committee. The DOJ cited internal policies about protecting uncharged subjects like Representative Gaetz, general concerns about how DOJ cooperation with the committee may deter other victims in other matters, and various interposed policies relating to congressional oversight of the DOJ itself. DOJ initial deferral request and subsequent lack of cooperation with the committee's review caused significant delays in the investigation. Those delays were compounded by Representative Gaetz' obstruction efforts. The committee has determined that its findings must be released without further impediments. According to the December 10th, 2024, the committee voted on whether to release this report. Although several members did not support its release, a majority of the members voted in favor of its release. Oh yeah, no, they never do because there aren't any goddamn consequences for it apparently, so fuck it. Yeah. We only approve the narrative when it aligns with our goals and gives us money. Yep. Oh, man. So, I mean, I don't know if we need to read the intricate details of this report, because we've gotten a pretty good summary, I think, at the beginning of exactly what he did, right? He had sex with a 17-year-old. He did a bunch of fucking drugs. He was constantly buying prostitutes. He misappropriated funds. He manipulated a woman with via their to get them a passport into the country who he was sleeping with. Like, this man was just exploiting every possible system of governments, and thank fucking God that he's gone. Thank fucking God that he's gone and he's not taking your... Because remember, chat, you paid for those prostitutes. Yes, you, chat. You paid for those drugs and prostitutes right out of your tax money, out of my tax money. Members who didn't want it released should probably be looked into, honestly. It's just, I mean, it's what I would expect. It's just party line bullshit. They always do this shit. They always try to back up their own guys. And I didn't get a crumb of that pussy. Joke's on you, I don't pay my taxes. Okay, well, every American here, your taxes directly went towards the paying for drugs and prostitutes. Isn't that grand? Isn't that badass? Isn't that great? It's so cool, actually. I love it. Man. Oh, wait, our government buys weapons from the U.S. Oh, true. Oh, yep. So technically, your tax dollars are going towards it. Yes. If your government purchases weapons from the United States government, that means that your tax dollars are, in fact, in a roundabout way, paying for prostitutes and drugs. Sick. Awesome. I love it. I love it. It's so great.